What if the thing holding you back isn't your circumstances, but the story you've believed about yourself? David, William, Pierce, welcome back. And this week, I came face to face with a belief that I've been carrying for years that I hadn't realized and that had actually been shaping my life. A belief that said that I don't deserve to receive. Now, I'll admit that I am a recovering people pleaser, and my love language is touch primarily. I genuinely love giving touch. I'm happy to spend a lot of my day offering massage, having conversations with people, offering support, and helping others where I can. But during a relationship check-in this week, something deeper revealed itself to me. See, for the last 10 weeks, I've been conducting an experiment into consciousness. At the beginning of May, I decided to step away from smoking, from substances, and from sexual release. My attention had become scattered, and there were parts of my life I was wanting to change, and I decided to remove these elements so that they were no longer distractions and were no longer excuses for me as to why change wasn't occurring. And one of the unexpected gifts of this experiment has been the opportunity to deepen into intimacy with much greater presence. And during a massage and intimate exchange this week, I allowed myself to fully surrender into receiving, unexpectedly as well, not giving, but actually receiving. And that simple shift revealed something that I hadn't noticed before. And it was highlighted to me in a conversation. See, in Tantric philosophy, the mind is understood through 3 faculties. The first is attention, where your attention goes determines which experiences, thoughts, and emotions you continually feed. The second is ego, not ego in the modern sense of arrogance, but the limited story of who you believe yourself to be. And the third is discernment, buddhi, your capacity to make wise choices. The choices we make, though, shape our lives and are often quietly influenced by what Tantra calls samskaras, the psychological and emotional impressions left behind by our past experiences. Think of them like knots. Just as massage helps dissolve physical knots held in the body, meditation is a tool to gradually soften and dissolve the psychological knots held in the mind. And as those knots begin to loosen, something remarkable starts to emerge. Not a new version of yourself, but the part of you that has been quietly witnessing everything all along. The realization is that one of the biggest lessons Tantra keeps teaching me is this. If we want to change our experience of reality, we first have to transform the mind. Because belief shapes reality. A belief is simply something we've come to hold as true. The difficulty is that many of our beliefs aren't built upon reality itself. They're built upon a partial experience of reality. We mistake one wave for the entire ocean, and then we build our lives around that misunderstanding. For me this week, that wave was the belief that I don't deserve to receive. Receiving touch is what revealed it, and a conversation that highlighted it. But the story had never actually been about touch, really. Touch is what simply revealed it, highlighted it, exposed it. Once I could see it, I also realized it wasn't only affecting intimacy, it was quietly influencing how much abundance I allowed myself to receive in my business, how much support I accept from others, and even what I believed was available to me in life. I don't think this is unique to me as well. Most of us become identified with something, whether that's our thoughts, emotions, or body. Maybe it's a profession or our relationship status. And once we mistake that one part of ourselves for the whole of who we are, that's when suffering naturally follows, because we've mistaken the wave for the ocean. And this is exactly why I find the transformational conversations I'm conducting so meaningful. Most people don't actually need another strategy. They don't need another productivity system or a book or a podcast. They simply need someone to help them see the story they've unknowingly organized their life around. Because once that story becomes visible, it begins to loosen. And when it loosens, new choices become available. So if you've ever felt like you're repeating the same pattern in your relationships or your business or even just your thinking, I'd love to explore with you what's possible. If you're curious to know more, follow the link in the description. So perhaps the biggest insight from this week is that your body is real, as is your personality and your thoughts and emotions, but they are not the whole of who you are. They are sacred expressions through which life is moving. Your deepest identity is the awareness quietly witnessing all of them. The ocean expressing itself as a wave, not separate from it, never separate from it. Inherently part of it. So I'll leave you with this week's reflection. Where did you mistake the wave for the ocean this week? Where did you become identified with your thoughts, your emotions, your body, your role, or your circumstances? And where did you catch, if only even briefly, a glimpse of something deeper that remained unchanged, quietly witnessing it all? If this reflection resonated with you, I'd encourage you to watch this week's Tantra study where I explore the teachings that inspired this insight in much greater depth. And if you'd like to learn how to take those teachings off the yoga mat and apply them to your life, your relationships, and your business, book a free breakthrough call where we can explore a repeating story, emotion, or pattern that's been keeping you stuck. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next transmission. Cheers.